Hi, we're talking about sports injuries. We're talking about respecting people who haven't had a lot of injuries and also respecting the people who wrongly get called injury prone. And I talk from experience, all right? What are my credentials? Who cares? I'm observant. I care. I have a lot of credentials, though. With experience, I have too many credentials to list. I think it's just crazy how they want to silence people and not let them speak and say, oh, this is not factually correct, scientifically correct and accurate with everybody else. I challenge science. We should be able to challenge science and question science. But, this is my second time to start a video, and I wanted to start off with LeBron James and Michael Jordan, but the title of it, we're going to talk about sports injuries. I have experience, and somebody may laugh at the fact that I played basketball in high school, right? But I'm observant. I can tell you, there's something I'm going to tell you you've never heard before. That's the point. I respect. So in high school, I played a lot of backyard basketball, and I rolled my ankle a ton of times, like majorly, and I'm like, it's okay, though. It didn't break. It didn't, I've been labeled as injury prone because of an injury I got in track and field. I played football in the backyard, not mostly just backyard, but I played tackle, and everybody wanted me to play football, but I went to a small school that didn't have football except 1 year when I could have played, and I decided not to because of potential injuries, and I was really wanting to do track and field. But I was the running back, and I never lost a game I was on the team. Is that because of me? Me and a quarterback, I would say, but they say it's mostly because of me we didn't lose, right? As a running back, I'd be running back and wide receiver, right? And everybody wanted me to go all out for football. They thought I could make it in football, right? But I played more basketball than football. I played soccer. Well, I'm scared. I was scared. I want to say I was not scared to get hit and tackled straight on, and so I wasn't too scared of that. But I was more scared of going shin to shin in soccer. So but I'll just give you 2 points of experience. The thing you never heard before about high top basketball shoes and blisters, basically blisters. All right. So. And that's coming from somebody who played basketball in high school, could have tried for the college team. People wanted me to try for the college team, but I didn't do it. And whether I would have made it or not, it's debatable, but I was formidably could have tried out. I had players on the team. One player who made it to the pros had wanted me to try out for the team. He wanted me to be on the team. But, and I've talked to him since that was college. That was in college. Since then, he doesn't remember that now, but I remember it, and it's true. I played with him in PE class, and he wanted me to come out for the team. But I said, I'm not tall enough. And he was 6'10", right? But blisters, I'm going to slow it down here and not go in order, okay? I never played basketball long enough on the court with high tops. I didn't play backyard ball. I played a ton of backyard ball without high tops. I didn't really like high tops. But I put those high tops on. But I didn't play long enough, and it's meant enough games. There was a short season in high school to where I got past getting adjusted to blisters that the high top shoes gave me. And that's just something to think about. That's my point here is look, I'm observant. And, these guys, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep dealing with these blisters. But you either get used to it or you learn how to handle it. You build up a callus. You basically get used to blisters. I've dealt with blisters. I've walked 80 miles before. I've done about 80 miles. And I've dealt with blisters and injuries like that. And and I've done a lot of walking in my life since those times. I'm 52 now. And you do get to where you don't blister, or you get used to a shoe, or if you've been walking a while in a row. If you haven't walked in a while, then you can get blisters. But if you've been walking a lot regularly, you get past the blisters, right? So these guys, they probably get past that. I don't know the story on that kind of stuff. But my injuries, I got injured in track and field from working too hard. And so I had people calling me lazy and injury prone because of this major injury, which when you work too hard and too long and too much and you put too much stress on a joint and you mess up your joint because you did too much. Now, there's another side to that. So is it true when they call people injury prone? Is that a fair assessment of people? Not necessarily, because even the best people, longevity people like LeBron and Jordan, they can get injured. They're lucky. Part of it's luck. providence. I don't know if God, some people want to get picky about providence, and God, he blessed them with not very few injuries. But really, one reason they don't get injured is because, and one reason I did get injured is because although I worked and overworked and I wasn't lazy, despite what people say, I actually got it from overwork. In the off season, I didn't do the work, but I wasn't as dedicated to sports as I was to music at the time, and just working my way through college. And I worked hard manual labor jobs, on my feet all day, that kind of stuff. So I didn't do my summer workouts and didn't have a scholarship at the time either. So I wasn't necessarily motivated to, and I didn't have the knowledge either. So about exercise and knowing how you can get injured. Well, I went from 0 miles a week to 50 miles a week running, and it wore my foot out. And then when it was hurting, I kept running on it. When I should have rested it, I should have known this is not just a pain you're supposed to tough it out and go through. I ran my foot in the ground. All right. So, but then people think it's faking, and because it's not broken, I didn't break it. I got plantar fasciitis and kept running on it, and till I ruined it. It's been a lifelong injury now. So, but I got that kind of injury, and people would call me injury prone, right? But I could get smacked in the mouth, get smacked in the chest, get smacked hard in football or whatever, and not get injured. I twist my ankle in basketball, and harder than most. I mean, hard enough to break my ankle quite a few times, and I'm like, it's okay, and just keep playing. I was surprised it wasn't broken a few times or something, and so there's certain things I could handle and was tough with. And your knees, anybody's knee's gonna mess up if you get the wrong angle. So it happens to be you can get hit at an awkward angle and get injured. So it's not always fair to call somebody injury prone. Now it could be their style of play, like Kyrie Irving. He does these fancy shots, and he gets and this is a subject you never hear people talk about, by the way. They stereotype somebody as injury prone. Well, it can be your style of play can get you injured. Kyrie Irving is more likely to get injured than LeBron James, because LeBron James is big. He does some high flying stuff. He takes some risks, but he doesn't go at a lot of awkward angles. He doesn't have to jump way up high in the air and land on his head like Kyrie Irving to do. And Kyrie can do that and make the shots, but you risk injury doing that. Right. And so he's probably gotten better about how to coordinate some of those moves so he doesn't get injured. Right. Over the years. But he's just not tall, but he's skilled. He's skilled, and he's kind of like Jordan in some ways. Jordan can do fancy stuff, and it's amazing that Jordan didn't get hurt more. All right. So I have respect for these guys that don't get injured much, but they've been injured. Jordan's been injured. LeBron's been injured. But they didn't get injured much. They had good longevity. And for a fact, I know with LeBron, it's because he works around year round. He works out year round. And he's never gotten out of shape, really, that I know of. And if he did, it wasn't for very long at all. And so he's a gym rat in that sense. He's addicted to exercise, and that helps you keep from getting injured. So a lot of players that get injured, it's not that they're injury prone. It's because some of them didn't do their summer workouts, or they got out of shape and tried to get back to shape too fast. So that happens. And basically, that's the subject I wanted to talk about right now. That's about it. I guess I could keep expounding and going on, but it'll just go into another topic. And, these basketball players play a lot of games. In high school, you don't play a lot of games. College, you play quite a few games too. And they get past that point or adjusted to not getting blisters on their feet. And you never hear about that. I guarantee you that. But some of them may have learned it young and they never had to deal with it again. But there's probably, I've not heard this stuff, but it may be every season that some guys get these major blisters on their feet that they don't get past, that they don't get adjusted to or don't talk about. I haven't even heard about people talking about blisters on their feet, but they're talking about getting their feet under them and getting their game speed back. Early in the season, some people get injured more than late in the season. But you can get injured at any time, and that's because of angles, and that's the other point I wanted to bring out, and I brought it up. But just a weird angle. You can get hit at a weird angle, and anybody can get hurt. It's not just somebody who's, quote, injury prone. But somebody like Anthony Davis, part of the reason he gets hurt is his style of play. I don't know if it's because he doesn't stay in shape as much. It's maybe the shape of his body. He moves a lot for a big man. So in awkward angles, perhaps. And that, he's been injury prone somewhat throughout his career. He's done pretty well the last 2 years, really. But, it's not I'll just conclude with this. I don't think being injury prone is always a fair tag. There's some injuries people get, and they're not going to heal. It's just never going to be right again. And it's the type of injury it is. You got the unluck of having that. And it could be reasons for it. And some Christian people don't believe in luck. And I'm a Christian who does believe in luck. I believe God created luck. This is because he doesn't promise us tomorrow. But you can increase your luck with lightning. Lightning strikes. I believe God created luck with lightning. Lightning, he doesn't direct the lightning. He lets the lightning take its course. He lets the storms take their course. Now, he can, if that bolt's going to where you are, he can do a miracle and stop it from going that way. But you can increase your luck by being indoors and being in proper spots, but that's not 100% certainty you won't get struck by lightning. But you do increase your luck, chances of not being struck by lightning by going indoors. But I think he's sending us a message that nobody's promised tomorrow. Live right today. Try to live right today. Battle your, that's easier said than done. But keep trying to look towards what matters and not be vain, and look towards spiritual things that last forever. Do that today, because you are not promised tomorrow. All right. So LeBron increased his luck for not getting injured by staying in shape. His style of play is actually natural, but he's probably worked on it too. Make sure his stepping is right when he does spins and things. I always think sometimes he does some pretty good spins. I'm like, hope he doesn't hurt his knee doing that. But he's probably worked on his spins to make sure he does them right. He probably has. I don't know that. So he doesn't hurt his knee or something. There's a proper way to spin. There's a proper way to slide in playing baseball so you don't get your knee stuck under you and break your ankle or break your knee. So there's a proper way to slide. If you're a quarterback sneak and you do a slide, if you slide a certain way, you'll get injured. So there's people work on that stuff, and people know how to make it so they don't overdo it and get blisters on their feet that won't go away. They know how to get adjusted to blisters. There's a lot more to things than people think. But it's really amazing, though, still how long LeBron has played. And many other players. I'm just using him as an example because he's the champion of longevity, I'll say. And there's a lot of ways you can get hurt in basketball. It's a fast-moving game, right? And a lot of wear and tear that can happen. So the wear and tear is probably the biggest thing, that anybody can get, especially over time. And so staying in shape is the main thing you can do to keep from having wear and tear injuries happen as badly, believe it or not. So the funny thing is, you stay in shape. Well, you're getting wear and tear while you're just doing all that exercise. Well, that you got to know how to do it and not overdo it. But that's what makes your joint strong enough to handle the extra stress too. So, marathon runners know some of this stuff. Marathon running has a lot of risks, And anyhow, I just wanted to point that out because it's not true to always call somebody injury prone. They might have had bad luck for a time, and sometimes they can come back. But once you're injured, you can still keep injuring. That same injury can keep being a haunting problem. And sometimes you compensate for it, and it can be a problem. So then you get labeled as injury prone, and you just happen to have bad luck, right? But there's ways to avoid injuries, but there's no 100% guarantee. And there's a reason to have some respect for the people that have had longevity and didn't get injured much, and understand they didn't just get there without working for it. So anyhow, that's all I'm going to talk about for today. That's Bob, Analytical Bob Talks Sports. on Saturday, December 28th, 2024. Just a few days before the New Year's 2025. Happy New Year's coming up.